Not many of us this week. I think people are gone. Or they're just tired.
Beth wasn't feeling well, so she...
So I'm going to present our welcome statement. We had a committee work through it.
Do you have copies for us?
I do. I'm going to give it to you in a minute. I want to do the devotion first. We're not going to comment on it until I go through it first.
Okay.
And then we'll comment on it, okay?
Hey.
Hi, Marie. I'm glad you're here. You weren't feeling well.
Pardon?
You're a trooper. I hear you aren't feeling well.
Yeah, but I'm not on about 4 pistons right now. But
On 4 pistons?
4 pistons,
When you
yeah.
should have 6?
I should have 6 or 8.
Yeah, I get it. All right, we'll have one more session, depending on how this goes. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Cheryl, hit that arrow. Okay, I wanted to use the passage of the day of Pentecost for our kind of our grounding. As he walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw 2 brothers. Wait, that's not Pentecost. That's the calling of the disciples. Okay, I'm going to read it to you from the Bible.
That's my mistake.
Oh, that's 18 now, 1 through 13.
Yeah, that's actually
That's the wrong
that passage is actually from Luke. Okay, let me read it to you. Acts 2. When the day of Pentecost had come, they were all together in one place. Suddenly from heaven there came the sound like the rush of a mighty wind, and it filled the entire house while they were sitting. Divided tongues of fire appeared among them, and a tongue rested on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak to them in other languages, as the Spirit gave them ability. Now they were devout Jews from every nation, and he's going to go through the long list of different nations that were represented there, from the past and the present. From under heaven, living in Jerusalem. And at this sound, the crowd gathered and was bewildered, because each one heard them speaking in the native language of each. Amazed and astounded, they asked, "Are not all those who are speaking Galileans? And how is it that we hear each of us in our own native language? Parthians, Medes, Amalekites, residents of Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, Egypt, and parts of Libya, belonging to Crete, and visitors from Rome, both Jews and proselytes, Cretans and Arabs, and our own language we hear them speaking about God's deeds and power." All were amazed and perplexed, saying to one another, "What does this mean?" But others sneered and said, "They are filled with new wine." Peter says, "No, it's too early to be filled with wine. It's only 9 o'clock in the morning." And I thought to myself, we did not live in my college dorm. But anyway, the church began with all sorts of people, all over the world. Okay, next, hit the arrow, Cheryl. Okay, so I want to talk to you about what we're doing today, and that's the church. We're going to review our welcome statement, and we'll look at that. But first, I want to look at each section is both actual and aspirational for First United Methodist Medford. So the welcome statement is, I'm hoping it's actual, like we actually do some of these things, and some of it is aspirational. And find our comfort with the statement and to entertain revisions. We do want to be careful with editing, because editing is subjective and it can go on forever. And often when you have a group that edits, what you come up with is something that can be very bland, because everybody's editing at the same time. So I do want to be careful with that. Okay, so I'm going to pass it out and put up the next slide, and you can read along, that's far too small. It's something that's playful. This is not a theological statement, and it's not a mission statement. It is a welcome. I really, you need it, sure.
She'll pass them out for you.
She's a good bird.
Well, not at all.
So I really sat with this for a while, trying to figure out what I was hearing at the other session. And I really came up with a welcome statement, and then how we would live out this welcome statement, which will be the second part. So for this first part, I'm just going to read it to you, and then it's playful. It uses a lot of metaphor, because metaphor is fun. And then we'll get it through, and then we'll look at it deeper. You can make your comments. All right. We are a downtown congregation. I'll wait till everybody's got it. Okay, First United Methodist Church, Medford, our welcome statement. We are a downtown congregation that strives to be the hands, feet, heart, and mind of Jesus, offering radical hospitality to the city. If you work in the city and county offices, own a business, wait tables in a local restaurant, or find yourself unemployed, we welcome you. We welcome the comfortable and well-fed, the unsheltered and the hungry, those battling addiction, and those who are recovering. Whether you are straight, gay, transitioning, or questioning, we offer a safe place for you to discover the love of Jesus and a community. If you know what you believe or are an agnostic doubter, recovering from a previous church experience, or a long-time Methodist, we understand that it's more important to experience grace and community than it is to claim a dogma. We welcome the city, the well-to-do and the struggling family, the retired gray-haired older adult and the squirming baby, the out-of-shape dad and athletic mom, white and black people and all the wonderful skin hues that are in between. Whatever your heritage, born here or elsewhere, we believe that diversity is a strength and reflects the creativity of God. We welcome you. Together we strive to live out the teachings of Jesus. We believe that first and foremost, our religion should make us kinder, more compassionate, and create in us a greater capacity to love. We invite you to become companions with us. We strive to lead the hands, feet, heart, and mind of Jesus in the city.
Very good. How do you plan to use this?
That's what we're going to go through right now.
Okay. No, but I mean, are you going to pass these out to people?
No, we're going to go through all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what my 16 slides are. But good question. But good question, that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, next one.
Right.
All right, so what I'm doing is I'm taking this a section at a time. We are a downtown congregation that strives to be the hands, feet, heart, and mind of Jesus, offering radical hospitality to the city. Have you guys done this study?
I've read the book, but I don't think the church has done the study.
It's a really good study. Did you like the book?
Yes,
Yes.
very much.
It's very positive.
Yeah.
It's a very good study. And I've done all 5 of them. I would just take this one for now anyway, and I would do it sometime after Easter with the congregation. I would do the worship around it, and then we would have a study as well to really get people behind it. What does hospitality mean in the Bible? And what does it mean for us? Because it really is a major theme in the Scriptures. It's a major theme. We are a downtown congregation that strives with the hands, feet, heart, and mind of Jesus, offering radical hospitality to the city. So I was thinking, we could do the study. He's a bishop somewhere in the Midwest, I believe. Robert Shanese. Okay, next slide. Reach out to the business. Okay, so if you work in the city and county offices, own a business, wait tables at a local restaurant, find yourself unemployed, we welcome you. Now, I want to preface it with this. I know that we are not a large congregation. I am fully aware of that, and what our energy is level. So in anything I say there, you've got somebody who's been at this for a while. I know how important it is for a congregation to pace itself. Because you don't want 3 months later people just not showing up because they're exhausted, or they're just quitting. So I understand the pacing. And if you say to me, Ben, it's too much right now, then that means I have to back off. So these are all ideas that we do over time. But I did think that we find ways to reach out to the business community, government offices within sight, because they're right there in sight. Special midweek services, parking lot gatherings. That parking lot gathering we had, when was it? It was very successful.
Yeah, August, because we were on the phone.
I walked one of the vendors through a sanctuary looking at the windows.
And it was successful that way. All the vendors said they made money, they'll come back.
That's neat.
But the county offices really appreciated having someplace to go. I mean, we all sat down. The trucker guys had to go, so I had to get everybody to leave because they had to get their trucks out of here, which meant you're going to get run over. So we had to clear people out because they had a schedule. So it was successful. We don't have the capacity to do them every week, but we could do one a month during the summer. I mean, it's a matter of somebody working with me to contact trucks.
Well, even at least 2 of the ones you lined up didn't show up. And then somebody came.
Yeah, and then somebody showed up that could be here. Which is the same guy that locked himself out, didn't have a key with him, and drive back.
That was my mind.
Some of the, one truck didn't come because he needed to make a certain amount of money, and I couldn't promise him that. I just couldn't promise it. And I didn't want to pay it out of the church pocket or my pocket. So. But, yeah, I mean, our trucks will do that. And then, this is one of the things I do as a pastor really like to explore and investigate, see what kind of collaboration can take place with other nonprofits or churches and groups. I do have it on my mind that I would like to, with a group of people, and I'm really Linda was about this, research
We can't hear you.
research a coffee shop
Okay.
in there that would be just during, like Monday to Thursday, during the business hours. So people from the offices around here can come, have coffee, and do their business. It welcomes them. Anything that we can do, we are in the downtown church, guys. Anything that we can do to welcome the business community, it's a good thing, right? Anything we can do to welcome the business. Can you all hear me now? Can you hear me, Bobby?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything we can do. So, those are just some ideas. Huh?
When you turn away, it's hard.
Yeah, I guess I need the mic up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, those are some ideas. You may have others, but I do think it's something broad that the board should look at over time is how do we, once again, pacing ourselves, doing it wisely, how do we open up the church to the business community? What do we, I mean, because they're right here. Okay. That was that second part, the third, yeah. Then the next slide, Cheryl. We welcome the comfortable and well-fed, the unsheltered and the hungry, those battling addiction, and those who are recovering. And we're doing that. I mean, that's not aspirational, that's actually actual. Food pantry, meals for Kelly Shelter, Linda, bless your heart. Raw retreat parenting classes, Linda, you told me they're put it off again because of COVID, but they're going to start up again, Linda Jacobs. Yeah. AA, we've got another AA group coming on Wednesday nights, more than likely. And I mean, this is your gift. And just find ways to sharpen our skills in how we deal with poverty in the area. I think it is important as a welcome that we don't go to one extreme or the other. I mean, I'll be real honest with you. You can't run a church just on almost poor people. You will die. I mean, that's just a fact. But they also need stability, a stable congregation. You just can't, because you can't pay the bills. And you can't, I've had this experience in the past, you can't get volunteers because their lives are so chaotic and unsettled. You take them for who they are, right? And you love them. That's why balancing it with business communities, something I think we have, just a needle we have to learn to thread. I think it's a needle that just, for downtown church, you gotta learn to thread between those two. You can't be exclusive one or the other. Do you all agree with that? It just doesn't, life doesn't work that way. Okay, next arrow, next slide. Making ourselves known as safe and inclusive place for the LGBT community. Well, you already have done that in a huge way. Now, there were comments about taking the banner down. I took the banner down because it looked awful. I mean, that was my opinion when I got here. That banner that was on the balcony was half the time not hung. I mean, just hanging there, flapping in the wind. And now you can laugh at this. Gay men don't like messy.
They don't like what?
Messy. Presentation, Lord. Presentation. Okay, that's the last I'll say on that. But I think that can be done in a way that's tasteful. It doesn't, I don't think it needs to overtake the church. But it is a way with symbols, signs, just to show that you can come here. If you sit down in the congregation, the preacher's not going to try to save you or threaten you or say stupid things about this. That it's a welcoming and safe place. And there are ways to do that, to make that known, that are tactful and that are presentable. I just want us to do it in a presentable way. I mean, yeah, right? Yes.
But I think a keyword is welcome. I mean, we have people, maybe they're all different categories here.
Yeah.
But we need to welcome them when they come in. Sometimes they come
Yeah.
I think we
That's
need
even
to
harder with the masks.
make a point of.
It is even harder with the masks.
Yes, I know it is. But
And it's harder without the passing the peace, too.
It's what?
Harder without the passing the peace. I noticed there was a woman sitting over here by herself. And I said, well, if you're not sitting with someone, say something kind to each other. Oh, what's the fellow's name? Really great fellow, long hair.
Oh,
Jake, of all people, walked over, went over, sat next to her, and talked to her. And I thought,
Oh, Jay,
way to go, Jake.
Yeah, I think that welcome. In fact, I've had comments from people saying they came in here, other churches, they just came inside, come in and somebody welcomed them. And even just saying, oh, you're new, or how are you,
Yeah.
or just so you recognize that it's not one of the regular people. And sometimes it's hard. Some of them look a little different.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good memory, they'll say, oh,
Yeah, I do.
Right, it's better to err on the side of an error than not to say anything. I think that this church has some strengths, has some things that are more weak, but I do think your welcome is a strength. I mean, it's really hard to take a congregation that just doesn't have a good welcome, like in their DNA, and get them to be. I had a church like that, a downtown church like that. It was just an ongoing project. That, they were so cool that they would just put the bulletins in the doorway, and I say, well, can you hand the bulletin, or can you have somebody be near the door? They say, well, the bulletins are right there. They can see them when they walk in. Their mindset. That doesn't describe this church. But you're right. I totally agree with you, Judy. We have to concentrate on that, being welcome. I only put this because Medford is kind of conservative. And, it is. I've learned that. So, for a church to identify, this is okay for you to come here. And that's why I would put something on, just to say, you can come here, you're going to be okay. You're not going to be pointed at or be uncomfortable. And that's all it is. Because I don't even think gay people want to hear preach service about being gay. I want to hear that. That's not something I want to hear. But I do want to know when I come in here that the minister's not going to slam me for it. Or throw you out.
I think when we look at people for who they are, not what they are,
Yeah,
made a big step. Look at who they are.
yeah.
Look at, because there's some amazing personalities that when you first see them, you think, whoa.
Which means also learning their story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that way. But I would give that job to the trustees because they are in charge of property. You know, what are some ways that we can do that? I don't think most people that I know, they don't know what a reconciling congregation is. They don't know what that is.
That's all I've seen there since.
Yeah, you see reconciling congregation, they may think race, and which would be a fine thing. But I don't think that's church language. People don't know what
Or they
that
think
means.
we're at war and we're trying to get out of it.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. I'm not joking when you say that. I think that's true. Okay, so next slide. Yes. Go back to that just for a minute, Cheryl. Come on, Cheryl, go
No,
back.
she doesn't have to go back.
We've all got to be.
No, I really like telling Cheryl what to do. So that's fine. Yeah.
Literally, Dale on the back of his pickup, he has a sign that the congregational church.
I've read that sign. Every time I go into Methodist I see that because you have a park there in the handicap.
What I would like for our church to do, and we'll see if we can afford to, is to get some of those,
Yeah.
pass out to our people.
Yeah.
Because that's an everyday thing that people see.
Let me talk to Laura Lee Ken.
what is it?
What does it say? I'll talk to Laura Lee Ken. She's a UCC pastor. Let's see if I can
Be
get her.
careful who you hate. It might be someone you love.
Yeah.
That brought some real conversation at the place I was at.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll tell you, this part of the country, this country is really different in different areas on issues. And this part of the country is just, it is in a different place than North Carolina. Okay, next slide. All right, continue. Okay, so the next one, if you know what you believe or an agnostic doubter, recovering from a previous church experience for a long time Methodist, we understand it is more important to experience grace and community than it is to claim a dogma. I do want to ask you, are you comfortable with that? Let's not look at the wording now. Are you comfortable with the theology of that statement?
Yes.
You are, okay, all right. So, I mean, this one, because there's not a Christian educator now, it really falls a lot on me to just continue to offer classes, Christian formation and Bible study. And if we have somebody in the congregation who feels skilled to lead a study, that'd be great. I mean, just continue to find creative ways to have classes and to teach, okay?
Do you think David
Ben?
will come back?
Ben,
Yes.
Because his class is.
these scripture parts at the bottom.
Yeah, I've been skipping that. Yeah, that's a good point, Cheryl. I picked out passages from the book of Acts that relate to all of these passages. And actually, that was what took me longer to do than anything else, was like picking out passages. And here I am passing right over. Well, Acts 2, 43 through 47 is that passage where they say they all came together to study and share everything in common. It's, the early church came together to study and search the scriptures to figure out what was happening to them. So that's that passage. Go back. Okay, and you know what I picked out for that one? That's Acts 8. That's the Ethiopian eunuch. And there are gay people who would say, Ben, Ethiopian eunuch, we're not eunuchs. So, but anyway, that was somebody who was on the fringes and on the outside and considered unclean. That's why I picked that, Ethiopian eunuch. Okay, next one. All right, okay, next slide. We welcome the city, the well-to-do, the struggling family, the retired, gray-haired, older adult, the screaming baby. I was just really, folks, just trying to be playful. Because when I people read this, I want them to giggle or to laugh, to smile. That's why I picked these. I came up with these. The out-of-shape dad, the athletic mom, white and black people, and all the wonderful skinnies that are in between. We welcome you. So, this is just people and family stuff. Scouting, the music school, scholarship. This is, I think, and I don't know how we'll do it, but it's a financial goal for us, for me, to work toward financially supporting a part-time Christian educator with an emphasis in children's ministry. Well, we just can't do it from our reserves, because the roof's going to go, and we're not going to have any money for the roof. Or the heating system.
One of the things that's not on there is on here,
What's that?
is whatever your heritage, I can't see it.
Oh, that's going to be the next slide.
Oh,
I broke that up.
sorry.
You are a detailed person. That's good. You are.
Question?
Yeah. Oh,
I like this, but there's one thing I feel is missing.
what?
You welcome the city, you welcome the city, you welcome the city. You say that 3 times in here, and for about 5 to 8 years, we drove 27 miles every Sunday morning and Wednesday night to get here as a young family. And
So you think it should be welcome to the valley? We welcome the valley?
or at least one place I would like to see the city and the countryside, or
Right.
something that includes more than just the city.
Right.
Like,
I don't object to anything that's on here, I just want
but
to see
for
that.
geography, so what if it said, what I don't want to do is put a lot of extra words in it because it's almost too long.
Yeah,
So I would entertain, because I hear what you're saying, we offer a radical hospitality to the valley. Because our membership really doesn't go, active membership doesn't go beyond the valley, to our valley.
Or to the area, or to the.
I think valley is better because it's really, you're talking about, I want this to identify us as much as possible rather than the area in general. But I do hear you, what you're saying.
Why don't we say road map?
All you have to do is add, instead of the out-of-shape dad and athletic mom, how about the urban family and the rural farm?
I think that's too much words, because I think we're overdoing it.
No, you took the out-of-shape dad and athletic mom and traded them for an urban family.
Well, how about then the first one, we offer, we are a downtown congregation, which downtown congregations generally do have large areas. Hold on for just a second. And that strives to be the hands, heart, and feet of Jesus, offering radical hospitality to the valley.
I like it that way, that's good.
To the road valley or?
No, just to the valley.
To the valley.
That's it.
I don't want to say area because it's not descriptive enough.
Right.
What are you going to say,
Valley
Sue?
is good.
Well, my point is that the city, people who work in the city, don't live downtown necessarily, they live in the valley.
So if we are welcoming to the city, they're gonna take that home with them. And so it's going to include
Got it.
more
I agree,
than
yeah,
downtown.
you've converted me. You've converted me. So, you have. So we'll, if it's okay, we'll use the word valley. All
Yeah.
right, yes.
Is that much?
What, instead of the valley, which is good, why don't we say our valley?
Because that makes it sound too possessive, like it's our valley.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I think the valley's good.
okay, good.
Are
Okay.
you talking about using the word valley in all of this where we said city?
No.
Yeah,
We welcome to the valley down at the bottom and, okay, that sounds better to me, yeah.
yeah, I think that's what we have to do. I don't think we can just change it in one spot. Okay, so, let's keep going, all right? I'll make that change. Then go back. Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't hear what was said up there when we were talking about the out-of-shape athletic, which I didn't like at all.
I know, it's
Well, I
stereotypes.
don't.
You don't like it?
It was
I
stereotypes.
think it,
I think it's funny.
I think it's
may I
funny.
finish?
Yeah.
Let
Oh,
me
my.
finish.
What about the out-of-shape mom and the athletic dad?
No,
That's too stereotypical.
No,
Go ahead.
they
Well,
both-
Mike had the floor.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. I like the busy moms and dads. I know what it was like for most of us when we had kids. We were busy and we thought we were too busy.
Okay. I hear you. I don't want to spend a half hour on that. So let me, no, I'm really listening to you. So let me go back this week to my office and come up with another metaphor.
Okay.
Okay, because I would rather work on the metaphor that way than do it as a group. Because I'll be honest with you, I can be more creative with a metaphor than we can all of us sitting together. I mean, I just think metaphors work that way. I think if we all work on the metaphor together, we're going to come up with something very sterile. And I don't want this to be sterile. I want people to chuckle and to laugh. When people read this, I don't want it to read flat and dry. I really, really don't. I want it to read in such a way that people smile and they laugh to themselves in parts of it. So that's why I put, and that was really important to me as a welcome, that it's not too staid or it's not too politically correct. And I really mean that. Like, I notice I didn't use LGBTQ+, because I think that sounds terrible.
yeah.
So I used words, that kind of went on the edge, but it was meant to stop people, to make them smile, and think, okay, what kind of people are those? They think that sound like they could be fun, because it's a welcome. So just be aware. That's why I wrote those words, because I want people to laugh at it. Okay? So I will come up. So the two words, I was going to do this later, but we're doing it now. The two words, metaphors that you don't like are out of shape dad and athletic mom. Actually, I really like athletic mom.
Well, you know what? There are a lot of things in here that people can look at and identify with, which is nice. And I think the out-of-shape dad and athletic mom, I'm not a dad, but I am certainly the out-of-shape, oh yeah, that's me. Well, I'm welcome there, and
Okay, but I'll come up with something different.
I
I like it.
overwork dad and busy mom.
That's too serious.
I think that's just.
I do. I want it to be playful. Because I actually thought of overworked parent, and I thought, well, yeah, I know, but I want them to be able to laugh at this.
I'm
Yeah.
Tired parent.
There's a lot of us that like this, the way it is. Don't take everybody that wants to.
What are you going to say, Penny? What? What are you going to laugh at? What are you say?
I like dogma.
You like dogma?
No.
But that's why we say we don't follow dogma. For that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, that's the point. Okay, let's continue with this. So, I do think that the board and the finance committee should set a financial goal for a part-time educator. How do we get there? How do we get to that point where we can do it? I know you're shaking your head no, Lauren, but
Well, first step is we need people to step up and volunteer in the office, so we don't have to hire an office We can't buy both, no way.
Not yet.
No, but I think, Lauren, if you don't ever set it up as a goal, the people have no hope. That's what, now some of that's what happens to me. I'll bring things up, and I think it's maybe because of your some previous leadership. You think that I'm saying,
Yeah,
this is gonna happen.
right.
Like with the coffee thing. I'm just saying, guys, to have a future, you have to have goals. And you have to explore and search and figure things out. If we just all the time just say, no, we can't do it, then we have nothing to hope for, to work for, right?
That's why we appreciate you.
But I'm the first to tell you, I would not hire an educator unless we had the money. Because we're going to go under if we do that. We just can't do it. But I don't think it would be bad to say to the congregation, this is where we would need to be financially to get an educator. This is what we have to work for. How do you feel about that?
Oh, absolutely,
That's what I'm talking about.
We can't expect people with families to come in here
No.
if the kids have to squirm in the seat.
No, and it's not bad for us to set a financial goal. This is what we got to do. And so that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if the coffee shop would take an educator.
Yeah, it could. It could. To do the coffee shop, I think two things, because I've thought so much about it. To partner with another nonprofit or agency that is Christian-based, and there are some groups out there that we could work with, and we really would need a business plan, somebody who knows business, knows the community, maybe somebody from OSU to really come and give us a business plan, even to do a study to see if a coffee shop would be viable. Because we want to go down that road. But I mean, my gut tells me yes. This coffee shop over here is really expensive. I've been in there. To create that warm atmosphere. And I've had a church with a coffee shop. It wasn't here, it was on the, in the English Channel, but it was a real success. It just opened up the church to the community. But yeah, it could happen. But even with that, you can't trust the coffee shop is going to do that. Yeah. That's the same thing with daycare. The other thing I've done is I've gone over to the Y and talked to the director and the director of the daycare at the Y there. Because we have, that space is already set to go. And they are interested in doing a satellite here, but they said they can't do that because they don't have staff. They cannot.
We used to have that with the Y.
Oh, with the daycare?
Yes, we did daycare there, and they did stuff here. We always did a Halloween thing together.
Yeah.
The kids came through the church from the Y.
Well, the director's open to
And
it.
there was a whole,
Because
I'm not sure Brad was there then. It may have been.
He wasn't. I asked him. He's only been here. I asked him if there was daycare's been open since he's been here. He said, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was real successful.
Yeah, and talk to Brad when you're over there. But that's how the same thing with the coffee shop. I've done daycares. Daycares are a tremendous amount of work. But if you have somebody who's really experienced and does daycare well, like the Y, that is Christian-based, where I can go in there and do a chapel chat with them twice a month and get to know the kids, that works. Because that way we don't have to have a separate, we have to have a separate daycare board.
And it's close to the church, right? It's close to here.
It was really close.
I mean, we're really.
But anyway, so those are just, yeah, I mean, and with that, those two metaphors, talk to me if you think you've got another playful metaphor that we can give, but I do want it playful. I don't want it to be real serious. You're going to get more people coming in smiling and laughing than you are going to saying, I know you're just really down and out and you need to be here, you're a parent. People don't want to know that.
People remember humor better than facts.
I think we're going to remember that line a whole lot longer than we're going to remember a lot of other things instead of that.
But if people, I don't want it up there if people find it offensive. If you find it offensive.
Everybody's going to find something offensive about everything.
Yeah, but I can't do a welcome if people in the congregation find it offensive. But anyway, think about it. Okay, next slide. Hit that arrow, Cheryl. Thank you. Whatever your heritage, born here or elsewhere, we believe that diversity is a strength that reflects creativity God and welcomes you. Wherever you're here, your heritage, born here or elsewhere. That was a committee sentence that came up with our little committee that I thought was a really good meeting. Okay, I know, Kath, that there is a Northwest Seasonal Project, and I don't bring that up here because we have Unite on site.
Yeah, right.
And Dagoberto is a phenomenally good guy. They are incredible renters, aren't they?
They're just such good renters. And he is such a good guy. Once again, I keep bringing this up because we are a Christian church, but so is he. You know, we share the same philosophy. And I know that at one time, you did English classes for him. I don't know what he needs at this point, but I do think that during the next couple months, we need to have some people with me to sit down, to go to Dagoberto and say, how can we assist you? What are some small ways that we can share in ministry with you? What are some things that you might need that we could donate? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, but I haven't asked them. But rather than just saying, we're going to do this for you, we should have that conversation saying, how can we help?
Because it feels like we're doing this to you.
Yeah, how can we be beside you and how can we go alongside
I
you?
would suggest that we have Dagoberto and his wife both.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Dagoberto.
She's really, they're really partners in that.
Yeah.
But let's sit down and talk with them. Find out. And that increases our welcome. Okay, next
We
one.
also have the Samoan community,
Yeah.
which is another.
Totally missed that one. Born, whatever your heritage. Exactly. That is another group that,
That meets here, and the music classes have been a real plus, especially with the scholarships and the signs around.
yeah. But with the Samoan, you know, I mean, I find myself sometimes getting distracted in little nicky-picky things. But these are the greater things that we should be doing.
Yeah.
You know, talking about these things and doing these things. I mean, Linda Jacobs and I talk about this kind of stuff all the time, right? You know, how can we do this stuff? So as a board, Rod and our committees, you know, let's just keep these things before us. Once again, I don't want to overwhelm us, but there are little things we can do along the way and just build on it. Okay, next slide. Practice kindness and compassion in all that we do. Make this the theme of our life together in our outreach. Together we strive to live out the teachings of Jesus. We believe that first and foremost, our religion. We argue about religion, and I really like that word because people who are not in the church think we are religious. That's what they call us, religious. And we want them to understand and then welcome that our religion, because the Methodist Church is a religion, Methodism is a religion, should make us kinder and more compassionate, and creating us a greater capacity to love. And that actually works right with Ephesians 4:1-6. You can go home and read that. Okay.
For people that don't know, the woman on the left is one of our homeless people that comes to the
Yeah.
I thought that's who she was, because I've seen her at the food
Her name
pantry.
is Kimberly.
Which is why I put that slide up there. Because you got two people who work for the food pantry and then you have her. I gotta tell you too, I mean, I want to talk some about your strengths because we do concentrate on our lack of things we have. We are lacking a bunch of stuff. But you're really good with people who are down and out. You really are. You're just really good. Because you don't hold people at a distance. You sit down with people and talk to them and have conversations. So that's kind of your strength. All right, next slide. We invite you to become companions with us. We strive to be the hands, feet, heart, and mind of Jesus in the valley. All right? And I think that's good. We could be a downtown church in the valley. I think you're right. I think I got that geography wrong. Okay.
Especially if you capitalize the V, it becomes the valley.
Why don't I do that?
I came from the San Fernando Valley, it was always called the valley.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. All right. Okay, is there another slide? Is there one after that? Okay, here we go. All right, are there theological points in which you, I wrote that bad. Are there theological points in which boy, that's so holy. Are theological points which leave you confused or you disagree?
That sentence.
That sentence. It's really bad sentence. Are there theological points in the welcome statement where you think, no?
Do you disagree with Ben?
Ah,
Do you disagree with Ben?
well, yeah, that's okay to disagree with you. I mean, the points that you made have been really good points. All 90% of them.
He was wondering which one it was.
Because I like athletic moms and out of shape dad, but I think if you're an out of shape dad, I can see how you would like it. Okay, or you could laugh at it. I don't know. Do you find the welcome statement both actual and aspirational? I mean, some of it is aspirational, some of it's actual.
The radical part, I don't think we're doing anything radical. That would be an aspiration.
It would be aspirational.
It seems awfully long.
It is long.
If we could get the same information in a little shorter, because to sit and read this whole thing.
But you're right, it is long. You know what we could do with it? Is we could put this, we need to get our website done. And I wanted to talk to Chris about that. We can get and this could be on the website. It could also be on Facebook. It also could be a frame in the church. It could be really posted in different places. But then what we could do, Cindy, is, I'm doing that to you today, Judy, is we could take, I know it, it's like when I,
Just
you
so
know,
call it.
what I call Alex Hand and Hand Alex. What we could do is, in different settings, we could edit it and take portions.
Or take the beginning part where it's,
The reason why I don't want to cut it up,
companions with us, we are a welcoming church. Just have 2 or 3 statements and then have these as an addendum, as an addition. It seems like we need some short statement that we are a welcoming open church, we welcome all, and then.
but we can do that from this.
Yeah, but then add this later. Sit and read this, takes a while.
No, but you know what? If I was going to a church's website to find out about them, I would look around for something about us, and in there I might find a mission statement. Then I would definitely read their mission statement. So this is not too long to read if I was looking into finding a church.
But I do think you're right. I do think in different ways as we advertise, we do that. This is not the Constitution. We can cut and paste and play with it. You know?
You could take little parts of this and put them on that marquee out front.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't always have to be taken. It doesn't have to be taken as a whole.
Yeah, I think a lot of good work here, but it's small.
Yeah.
And I think we need something concise, and then we elaborate on it.
Well, one of the things I thought that a word in there, a part that could actually be a mission statement is that one thing here. Together we strive to live out the teachings of Jesus. We believe first and foremost our religion should make us kinder, more compassionate, and creating us a greater capacity.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
great. Just kind of like that.
And I think there are settings where that's all we would use.
Yes.
Like even on the website, we could pull that out and put it up front, and then further down you have the whole
And have
thing.
this available.
Yeah, and have it available. I agree with you. And then another part, we just use the top, where it would say, we are a downtown congregation that strives to be the hands, feet, heart, and mind of Jesus, offering radical hospitality to
Yes,
that.
certainly.
It's limiting.
That you're saying we are a downtown congregation. We have people out in the country. We have people out in the.
No, we are a downtown congregation. We are located downtown, but offering radical hospitality to the valley.
Okay.
That's telling people where we're located. I think that's important.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you went through a period of time where you consciously chose to stay here, downtown, rather than move.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
It was just
So-
before John came, we
Huh?
had a meeting.
Too expensive.
A search partner, huh?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it was too expensive to move that decision, but I don't think it's bad you're here.
That's a lot of it.
No,
I just think it's a good thing you're here. I don't think this is a bad place to have a church.
no,
I mean, it's our problem was not location.
no,
It's easy to find.
I don't think so.
And there's good, we have lots of good parking. It's easy to find. You can tell people how to find it.
I think our appearance is looking really tired. Our outward appearance looks tired. Yeah. But
We could paint us purple.
no, I just mean we could do some sprucing up.
I know.
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
I'm not sure exactly what you're wanting to do with this, but I personally feel like this should be given to everybody in the church. I think that every time that we have somebody come in that we don't recognize, and ushers usually get pretty good at that, hand them this statement. If they're new to the church, like Al, is Al here today?
Al.
Al that came to our meeting with this.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, sure.
Oh, Al.
Al.
No, she's not here, but she was here this
But
morning.
anyway, when she came, give her something like this,
Yeah.
that way they understand who we are from the very beginning.
Yeah. It kind of states who we are. All right. I mean, and I want you to know that I really came up with this after listening to you. I mean, I really was listening. This is what I came up with. Okay. All right. What is missing from the statement? I want to tell you what's missing from the statement because I got a call from James Matichuk because he was part of this group. You know, they have a child with a disability, really extreme autism. But he said to me, I wouldn't put it in there about disabilities because he said, you're not ready. You don't want a family to show up with somebody with intellectual disabilities right now, or some forms of autism, because he said they couldn't handle it. You're not ready for it. And I said, yeah, you're right. But I said, you know, maybe at some point it can become aspirational.
That's where we can interact with the why.
Yeah.
If you have somebody with severe autism or severe
They
behavioral
work
problems,
with-
you need more than just somebody who, you need somebody trained that knows how to deal with that.
Yeah, I had a congregation that did do that. Dilworth, we had a service. It wasn't for people with disabilities. It was a service where people with disabilities could come and be comfortable. Those are two very different things.
Yes, they are.
Because we didn't want to segregate people. But we wanted to have a service in the afternoon where some people could shriek and wave their hands. You know, what is it called?
Speak in tongues?
No,
Tourette's.
Tourette's. No, but when you're, I don't know, there's a medical term for it. Where they could act out or just groan or whatever was taking place within them, and everybody was cool with it. We would actually have people come in the afternoon and say, can you change this about your service? And we would say, no, we can't because it's not really for you, come in the morning. But, and then we also had buddy systems for people with disabilities that came in the morning. It was a one-on-one buddy system that was with that person that gave the parent, if they were younger, a timeout. And we had some adults that had buddies that watched that person. But we had a minister, and that's what she did.
You have
On staff. We had a minister on staff, and that was part of our job description. Because you're right, it is a big thing to do.
I still think I think we have lost our partnership with the Y, which we used to have. And
Yeah.
I think that is a good positive.
We've lost a lot.
That's a good hookup with some of these.
Yeah, you know, I totally agree.
I think we need to.
Really get back to that. Well, and there's something we can do. I mean, to fulfill this welcome is, you know, we can sit down with Brad at a board meeting and talk to him. Rod, I mean, that's something Brad's I've really enjoyed. I've been in his office once, and just on the side, I've talked to him for a while on the phone.
Yeah,
He's a really good guy. And so is the daycare director over there. She's very good at what she does. But why's always having daycares? But anyway, I mean, the ones I have known have. But yeah, I mean, I think part of being a downtown church is really important to have alliances and partnerships. That's how you get stuff done.
Also, with the Scouts, we have an alliance with the Scouts, which is a good positive alliance. And some
Well, we sponsor them.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah. That's an important thing.
it's brought things into.
Yeah. I mean, the more connections you can make, the better off you're at. You
The more
are.
connections you make, the more that will lead to other connections.
Yeah.
The things you didn't think were possible or you didn't think of doing them previously. Sure, exactly. Exactly. Oh, I totally agree with you. So that's what I came up with. I think we kind of run our course on this because there's not many people here today. What's the feeling? Do we have another one, or how do I get some? You want me to make some changes here?
Is this going to be with other churches, or is this just?
No, this is it at this point.
This is for our church.
Yeah, I felt like we were going down a path where we need to really concentrate on what we're doing. But we are doing a Good Friday service with St. Mark's, First Pres, and UCC Church.
Is it going to be here?
No, it's going to be at the Presbyterian Church, because the last event we had here.
At
we had
the
that.
Presbyterian Church.
Yep. And then we're also going to do this thing on environment together. We talked about on Wednesday. I don't have all the details, we've got to work it all out. We'll do it in the summer.
Environmental study?
Yeah, we're going to do it in the summer together with them.
To do what?
An environmental study we're going to do in the summer with them. But, I mean, they're the other downtown mainline churches, so.
I think another thing that really doesn't ever get mentioned is we have a wonderful church camp that offers
Camp.
church camp
Yeah.
that offers some very good possibilities for a lot of ministry.
But-
that is like, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned groups and that,
Well, I really what I want to do, because I don't want to go down a lot of paths, but you,
I'm just making an announcement.
oh, okay, all right, go ahead.
The Sunday before Ash Wednesday, I just got a huge bag of lemon pledge wipes, and I would love to have some volunteers to come in, the more the better, because every time I sit down in the pew, it's dusty. And before Easter, before Good Friday, we need to clean up our church, people. And we don't have the paid staff to do it, so we've got several, we've done this before. If we got several people and just started dusting and polishing, it would look so awesome. Not that it doesn't now, but I mean, without the dust.
Okay, all right. Very good. Okay.
This is the last slide.
Now,
Are you asking, are we gonna have another one of these? Is that what you said?
oh, this is just an action plan. Sign up for 5 practices for hospitality. Trustees to research signage. Be a part of a small group to meet Dagoberto and Unite. Finance committee and board. Put forth a financial plan for DC. What would actually take us? What would we need to be? What kind of income do we need to get there? Be part of a team to plan a few spring and summer parking lot activities for business weekday office community. Yeah, thank you for remembering that, Cheryl.
When you're talking about signage, UMW and the church, in a lot of places you see the cross with the red flame on it, but it has been brought to my attention, and I don't think we have any blacks in the community. We don't have them in church. But
We do have a few
But for many
black people.
blacks, a flaming cross is not a positive sign.
You know what I want to do with that, Mary? I want to wait until after general conference this fall,
Good plan.
because we may be a different denomination.
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. That needs to be looked at, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm using it even with UMW treasury stuff, but
But let's see what happens with the denomination and the emblem. See, we may not even have it anymore. If it goes to the other group, the other, so we just don't know. We don't know how we'll be identified. Yeah. Okay, but that's a good point.
let's
So,
take United Methodist Church and rearrange United to Untitled.
but we may not be United Methodist anymore.
Right.
Right, so, so that's an action plan, and I actually put that in the Monday email that comes out, what you can do. Yeah, you'll get that tomorrow. So I'll make some changes. I'm not really sure we need to have another one of these sessions because of our attendance today. I think they've gone on long enough.
This is a holiday weekend though, and a lot of people might have been traveling. I mean, kids are out of school.
You know, and I hadn't even thought about that
Yeah.
until Ed mentioned to me that tomorrow's a holiday.
Yeah, and Friday was for the kids also, so, you know.
Well, so what's the feeling? Another session to go over this, or to do this a different way? I can see everybody who's here, and I can email this to you again, and you can look at it. If we don't have that session, then we're just going to do the study that we've been having. So what's the feeling? What's the feeling? Yeah, Lauren?
In place of having excuse me, in place of having the final session, how about kind of putting this before the whole assembled church that's here on a Sunday morning?
No.
Well,
I just don't want to do it on a Sunday morning.
basically, you want to have validation that this is what we want, but if this is the only group you have here as representative of our church.
I have to get out a different way. I really don't want to have a business meeting on a Sunday morning for worship.
Okay,
That's what it's going to turn into.
I get that.
And I feel like my first priority in being a pastor is Sunday morning worship. And if I do that, there'll be people who haven't been part of the process. And I'm going to have to spend that whole morning reviewing everything. And anybody visiting or here that really needs worship, they're not going to get it. They're going to get a business meeting.
Yeah, and I do appreciate.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. You're trying to talk about a way to get as many people on board as possible.
They have to be on board, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
for sure, this is what we want to go, changing the cities and valleys, etc. Why
Talk
can't
louder.
we pass that out during, when people come in with the bulletin and just tell them this is our state?
We can do that.
Yeah.
That we can do.
And that way you're gonna reach a lot more people and they can try and you can say, speak to you or whoever.
Yeah, I just don't want to turn the service into a meeting.
No, this would be just like a.
Yeah, we
like
can do that.
Scouts for-
But what I'm going to do first, though, since you're the ones that are invested, is I'll make those changes and send them to you first.
And then can we put it on the website? You do the.
Oh, yeah, this will go on all our media.
Do we have a website manager?
Not really, no. That was one of the things I wanted to come out of this. And I was going to sit down with Chris and Tara and talk about what the best way of going about this. Our website, Chris has updated the website. There's not any old information on there anymore. It's all updated. It just isn't invited and pretty. But it's updated.
And it really needs somebody to look at it every couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
Ben?
Yes?
I mean, you were talking about putting this in the bulletin or something. I wonder, it seems like we ought to have a wrap-it-up meeting, you know, I mean, it's just kind of like here we are, and like you say, not very many people. It seems like we ought to do something to just pull it together and, you know, send people forth. And if you put this in the bulletin, say, the week before the meeting or something, you could just put a note or something, read this, and then we will discuss it at the last meeting, or some kind of thing that might invite people to
Yeah.
read it and come.
Okay, you know what I'm shying away from, though? I'll tell you what I'm shying away from. I sent out an email yesterday, and Anna did it for me, reminding everybody of the change of time. We changed the time, well, I had the wrong date, but for the Super Bowl. So, what I don't want to do is to continually have it approved over and over. I really don't want to do that. That's really wearing. I mean, it is. I want to get people on board. I think your idea of getting it into the congregation and having everybody read it is a good idea. I don't know. Why do I shy away from saying, okay, if you have any concerns about it, show up at this meeting? It sounds like a town hall.
Then you're inviting dissent instead of affirmation.
Yeah.
So then you have another meeting, still people going, well, I don't like that you have the parents here instead of dads and moms.
Yeah, and it
Then
just
you
goes
get a
on and
bunch of
on.
nitpicking going on.
And I really work to try to get people here, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like too, you know, the chicken that was going to bake the bread, and you know, nobody wanted to help, and then,
yeah.
then you know.
Was it a chicken?
Yeah, the red hand was it?
Yeah, it was a little red hen.
Well, but you know, and it's like everybody that's been faithful as much as they can to coming to the meetings, you know, it's like they've invested themselves and their time, and then to have people show up at the end and go, but hey, I don't like this or that. Well, you know, you should have been here.
Yeah.
You're putting flour and yeast.
But I do think it needs to go out to the congregation, Bobby. I think you're right. It needs to go out. It needs to be, everybody should get
And
it.
if people say that, if somebody expresses concern about it, say, well, I'm really sorry you weren't able to make this meeting, I'll make sure to let you know the next time that we have a group that's organized.
Yeah, and you know, this needs to be reviewed every once in a while. It needs to be opened up and looked at again.
You did let us all know. He gave us all a chance to do this.
Right.
To start the whole thing.
Yeah, what do you say, Laura?
So,
That's what you tell us, I'm sorry that you
It
We were
didn't.
on the calendar for every other month, second Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every month.
Every other month.
No, every month.
Every
Every
month.
month.
Every month, second Tuesday. And if you have to miss one meeting, that's okay. But try not to meet any more than one. This was a holiday weekend. Somebody missed this weekend and then they're not going to have that last meeting at all. Well, I think we can still have the last meeting. These weren't all about just creating a welcome statement. Our last meeting can be about trying to implement and what do we need to do to kind of get people on board with committee like this. We still can have a last meeting. We're done with this.
I think you're right. I think that's what we'll do. I think the next meeting, I think you're right, Lauren. The next meeting will be really in the action plan. I'll go back go back to that other slide. Yeah, and we'll put those up, and we'll actually talk about recruiting people for
And you
those
said
things.
that'll be on tomorrow's.
Yeah, it's on Monday's email,
You could,
and that's what we'll do.
you could reveal the final at that meeting, and then after that meeting, then.
Send it out to the congregation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll do, you're right. But what I will do is, for you that are here, that giving me the feedback, I am going to email you with this ahead of time, okay? I think that's right, I think you're right. I think that's right, that's what we'll do. So we'll stick with that second one in March.
Okay.
Okay.
How many are we short of what we had before?
At first, we were having about 30 people. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I
8,
counted
9, 10.
15 plus you and Ed.
Yeah, we have 15.
I counted 15
So that's
plus you
about
and
half.
Ed.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, and then after that, we'll get it out. And I'll also put other things on there. I mean, I would like to recruit a few people to sit down and talk about the website. The Facebook pages, they can be posted on that. The Facebook page is fine. I'm using Facebook page. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Let's,
Amen.
Amen.
if anybody